either. And
มา
he's been
ครับสวัสดี
exposed.
ครับเพื่อนๆพี่นะครับ สวัสดีนะครับ สวัสดีนะครับน้องพัดเป็นไงน้องพัดรูปหน้าปกใหม่สวยเปล่าเออสวัสดีนะครับไม่อยากให้มาเลยอยากให้มาทีมตัวเองให้ เออ มาอยู่แล้วทีมตัวเองทำไมไม่มาน้องพัดไม่มาดูคราวที่แล้วไม่เห็นมาดูเลยนี่ดูเสื้อด้วยนี่อุตส่าห์ซื้อมาใหม่เลยเนี่ย โยคาเลสเนี่ยนะสวัสดีนะครับเพื่อนๆพี่นะครับเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยนะครับพี่ๆน้องๆนะครับมาเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยขอมีคนป้อนพี่โอคาเลสนะ น้องพัดธรรมดามันยังใหม่อยู่อย่าเพิ่งซีเรียสน้องพัดขอโทษนะได้ไหมน้องรับ โอเคไม่เป็นไรน้องพัดพี่ก็โดดไลฟ์บ่อยพี่เข้าใจพี่ก็หลับประจำเพื่อนเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยนะก็แมนซิตี้นะครับเจอสเปอร์นะเพื่อนพี่วันนี้เรามียาวๆเพื่อนตั้งแต่5 ทุ่มเลยวันนี้เรายาวๆกันครับน้องพัดวันนี้อย่าเพิ่งหนีนอนนะน้องพัดนะอย่าหนีนอนอย่างเดียวน้องพัดสวัสดีนะครับเพื่อนพี่ๆนะครับเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากติดตามสวัสดีนะครับพี่ๆเพื่อนๆทุกคนนะครับเดี๋ยวมาดู11 รายชื่อผู้เล่นตัวจริงก่อนนะครับเพื่อนๆพี่ทั้ง2 ทีมนะเจ้าบ้านนะครับแมนซิตี้นะผู้รักษาประตูเป็นทัฟฟอร์ดนะครับเพื่อนๆทัฟฟอร์ดนะคู่เซนเตอร์เป็นลูเอนดิอาร์ตกับจอห์นสโตนนะครับแบ็คขวาวันนี้ใช้ลิสโกลูอินแบ็คซ้ายนะครับใช้แอดนูริเหรอครับมันอ่านว่านูรินะครับเพื่อนๆแล้วก็กองกลางนะวันนี้ใช้กอนโซเลสตัวลุกนะครับมีโมมูสบ๊อบแล้วก็ชากีนะครับแล้วก็อะไรมันอ่านว่าลีเจเนสเหรอผมอ่านไม่ออกเบอร์ 4เพื่อนแล้วก็หน้าเป้านี้ใช้ฮาแลนด์นะแล้วก็ฝั่งสเปอร์นะมาในแผน 4-2-3-1 นะประตูเป็นวิคาริโอนะครับผู้เซนเตอร์เป็นโรเมโรนะครับกับฟานเดอร์เฟนนะแบ็คขวาวันนี้ใช้เปโดปอโรแบ็คซ้ายใช้สเปนนะครับกองกลางนะครับวันนี้มีเปาลินยาเบนทังกูนะตัวลุกนะมีคูดุกมีซามีจอร์นสันหน้าเป้าวันนี้ใช้ลิชาลีซอนนะครับสวัสดีครับพี่เติ้ลโอ้โหไม่ได้เจอกันนานเลยนะประมาณนี้นะครับเพื่อนๆพี่นะโอเคลุย
Initially, thought it might have just been an off contact one that he picked up, but on the replays, it's when Mohamed Kudus goes to sort of switch the ball. Like, no, he does get his foot in the way, but as Kudus follows through, just sort of catches his feet. Thankfully, City he's back up to his feet now, so it looks like he will be able to continue. Walks off to the side, just a couple of feet away from him. With the medical staff, I think he's going to be reintroduced into this one, so we'll see how well that holds up. Did look for a moment like he was in serious trouble, but physios have done their job. Now Manchester City playing with to be reintroduced to the pitch. Sensing that as well. Look how high the pressing once more with Trafford having to clear it long under pressure from a chance. It's a great ball as well. Lovely skill from Omar Marmoush. To eventually go back towards Reinders though, as he's in the way of him. Looks like we finally maybe seeing our first goal in the top 2 divisions of English football as well today. It's like Blackburn have just taken the lead away at Hull City in the Championship. Just waiting news of the goal scorer. It's Man City again. That's a heavy touch from Diaz under pressure from Richarlison. Stones.
2 จาน 8,000 เลยเหรอ
wide towards Bob now.
ไม่
He's
ไหว
going to
นะ
have
น้อง
a
พัด
run at Jack
2 จาน
Spencer.
8,000
Twisting internally onto his left hand right before and she goes back towards Rico Lewis. Receives the return pass and now drives inside. That's ball towards Marmoush on the left. Reinders is making a run ahead of him. Marmoush goes for the curler and it's good power on it. Straight up the carry who makes the save. Tottenham now try and bring it out of play. It's a poor pass from Bentancur. The Bob now. Diaz is charging forward before they eventually getting each other's way. But the first real chance there, first time we've seen there from, I should say, from Omar Mouche cutting in on that right foot and getting his shot off.
Yeah, and I think Reinders may be a little bit unhappy with his Egyptian teammate there, because he makes a really good run, does the Danish midfielder, and he gets into a really good goal scoring position, similar to the goal that he scored against Wolverhampton Wanderers, as you alluded to earlier, Josh, where he just gets in behind the back line and then slots it away with his left foot into that far corner. You can almost see the exact same thing happening there again, but instead Marmouche cuts inside on his right foot and has a striking goal, which he's very much entitled to do. But I think that Johnny Rangers may feel that if he's going to do that, be selfish, he might well want to try and at least find the corner.
Yeah, certainly will. Well, Marmouche is capable of in those situations. That goal last season against Bournemouth tells you that. But here is Reinders now up towards the penalty area. He goes for it himself when there was the run down the left from Marmouche. It comes off a Tottenham man, and Spence can try and bring it away now as well. In fact, he gets penned in a little bit before Van der Ven launches it down the field. It was Ryan Hedges who got the only goal in that game for Blackburn against Hull City. The centre of the pitch has to go back towards Romero. Receive it once more again now, but you can see that run every time from Reinders, can't you? He makes it going forward. He's always looking to burst past the defenders and eventually get that shot off.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's certainly an attacking, creative midfielder. Is Tijani Reinders. Played really well last season for AC Milan, narrowly missing out on the Serie A MVP to a certain Scott McTominay as well. But for Milan last year, 55 appearances, 16 goals and 14 assists, so certainly a player that likes to get his name on the score sheet. But now Marmouche coming down the left-hand side, can't keep the ball in play. That runs out of play. At the moment, the Spurs are in a little bit of trouble. They can't seem to keep hold of the ball. And whilst Thomas Frank does like to have a good shape out of possession, at the moment you can't really see them creating any sort of a chance that's not a fluky long ball down the line to Kudus.
Yeah, certainly looking that way at the moment. A lot more concern though for Man City at this moment. Right now, Norrit is back on the pitch. He's just been moving a little bit awkwardly though. You can see when we're seeing sort of replays of him on our screens here, looks in quite a lot of pain still. Nathan Ake is still having a warm-up. So it's the ever more likely that he's not going to be able to continue it. But here is Marmouche now with an outside foot ball into the box. Haaland was really on the same wavelength and didn't chase it. Spence now just trying to let it go out of play. Does well the Tottenham defender just to shepherd it out for a goal kick. So yeah, Nathan Ake just getting to talking to as well from the Manchester City coaches. So it looks like they are just going to go for a like-for-like swap, but I really think they can sort of now get down that right side and maybe not face as much of a threat.
Yeah, especially Mohamed Kudus will be licking his lips really coming in against Nathan Ake, who's not really featured too much for Manchester City in the last couple of years. I think Norrie again down. It looks like he's in real discomfort. It's that left knee that keeps going up, and it's almost the entirety of his left leg that looks to be in pain. But I certainly think that this substitution could well shape the rest of the game. Nathan Ake last season only featured 20 times, and he's been changed really from a mainstay in the starting 11. 44 appearances the season before in 23-24, to then 20, almost halved, over halved his appearances for the Citizens. So really, it looks as though this may well be a big positive for Thomas Frank's men. Just about whether they can take advantage, but certainly a big loss for Manchester City.
Yeah, it certainly is. First substitution of the game having to be made in the 22nd minute. Still goalless at the Etihad between City and Tottenham. Just running through the benches now as well as looking that way. It's Edison on the goal on the bench for Man City. There's also Ake who's just coming on. Kusanov, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Mateus Nunes, Nico O'Reilly, Phil Foden and Jeremy Doku for Tottenham. It's Kinski, who's the backup goalkeeper. There's Danzo, Gray, Huskovic, Davies, Bergvall, Tell, Solanke and Odebert as well. Tottenham obviously keeping all their changes for the moment as Ryan Aitnore, guttingly for him, just make his way off the field very slowly. Nathan Ake is a capable player at this division, but doesn't bring that attacking threat like the man that he's replacing just now. So it's a horrible moment for the former Wolves defender. But on comes Ake onto the field, just about ready to go again with this one when Peter Banks is happy for the game to resume. Still no other goals to bring you news of on the grounds at the moment, other than that one for Blackburn Rovers away at Hull City. Just got a bit of a touch map there as well, and So that Mbappe side has only made about 3 touches in this game, despite being in midfield. So one of the players that will need to improve for Tottenham. But they are coming down the left side now for a change. It's Brennan Johnson lays it off to Jed Spence. Back to Johnson inside the penalty area. His touch is way too heavy in the end, though. Can't keep it under control. And not mentioned his name much so far in this game. First time we've really seen him in action. Puts it straight on play for a goal kick.
He does, and I do feel for him a little bit because it's a fantastic run that he's made down the left-hand side, carrying that ball really well, and he feeds it off to Jed Spence. And I think Johnson expects Spence to just whip that in with his left foot and aim for Kudus and Richarlison at the back post. The grounded ball was just driven between the City back line and James Trafford in goal as well. But in the end, Spence feeding it back to Johnson. It's a well-worked move and ideally a good one as well, but not really as effective because, as I mentioned, it didn't seem as though Johnson knew it was coming. Again, perhaps just signs of a bit of disorganisation.
The
first real attack they've had down that left side in quite a matter of minutes, but it does take us up to the halfway point of the first half. City are dominant at the moment, still not really having any major chances to break down that Tottenham defence and get past Vicario. It's goalless as it stands. It begins to take 3 to half time.
Cheers, Josh. As a sweeping ball from Jed Spence, looking for Mohamed Kudus will go out.
ซิตี้นี่หูเปลี่ยนไปชุดใหม่มากเลยจริง
English
ๆ
fullback
ผมนี่จำแทบไม่ได้เลยตัวนี่ใครอยู่กับตัวเจ็บไปตัวนะเพื่อนไอ้
do
ลู
look
นี่
vulnerable when Spurs win the ball back, and especially break at pace. Manchester City just unable to get bodies back. They are committing, really, or perhaps even over-committing, some may say, in the midfield. You've got Reinders, Cherky and Gonzalez playing a midfield triangle, really, with Reinders and Cherky the most advanced. But all 3 are pressing really high against that Spurs back line, and whilst it has paid some dividends at the start of this first half, at points it does look as though when Tottenham can get it right, there's certain rewards to be had for the visitors. As Van de Ven picks up the ball from Vicario, it goes wide to Jed Spence. As Josh mentioned, a bit of a career revival for Postecoglou, and now Thomas Frank feeds down the line to Brennan Johnson. He'll keep this one in play, will the Welshman, up against Rico Lewis. Does not get the better of the youngster, and Lewis does well to prod that out of play a bit. Throw in to Thomas Frank's men high up in the pitch. We saw them utilise long throws against Paris Saint-Germain, scoring from one of them. This time though they opt to go short, perhaps sensing Manchester City breaking the counter-attack would be a little bit too much of a vulnerability for them to dice with. Now back with Romero, recently made club captain since the departure of Heung-min Son. A big loss really for Thomas Frank. You'd imagine I think the replacement of Mohamed Kudus is an apt one out of that, and maybe Kudus involved here. He brings the ball down really, really well, and then Richarlison can't get on the end of it. Good defending from Gonzalez, who tracked back. But again, the long balls I think from midfield have been decent. Kudus has been involved at points. He's just struggling to get the ball on the deck and really have a run at that far side, and especially at the recently introduced Nathan Ake.
Yeah, he's struggling, isn't it? It's like City know that as well, of course they will. Although the threat that Kudus possesses and how what a great footballer he can be. You just need to keep him out of the game as much as they can. I'm not saying that Brennan Johnson is a bad player, of course he's a brilliant footballer, but they'd much rather, I think, him be more involved than Kudus cutting into his left foot. And that's the game plan at the moment. City almost getting away down the left there as well with Marmoush, just couldn't quite keep it in though on that occasion.
Can't quite do so. It was a fantastic run once again from Tijani Reinders, this time down the middle of the field, just splitting Romero and Van de Ven apart, but he wasn't found by his teammate, and again a little bit of frustration building perhaps for him, but a fantastic tackle from Marmoush there. Richarlison almost wins it back, and then it's juggled in the air by Gonzalez. A bit of showboating there perhaps from the Argentine. Now Gonzalez again through the legs this time of Paulinho. It's Marmoush one-on-one with Porro. That's not where Spurs want him to be, but he's trying to cut the ball back. In the end, won by Richarlison, who's then brought down. Big challenge against Kudus. It's won fairly by Ake. Now Marmoush again. City just really camped down on the edge of the Spurs box. Ruben Diaz may have a strike on goal. Almost company-esque there, but instead decides against it. Plays to Lewis. That's the wrong option. Lewis then plays that ball, looking for Bob straight out of play. The Norwegian winger unable to get anywhere near it. And Spurs do have a reprieve momentarily. Guardiola looks a frustrated figure inside his technical area. As Jed Spence goes to take this throw in on the near side, deep in Spurs territory. It's pressed really high up that field, wanting to win this ball back. They've done it a couple of times, especially in that attack moments ago. Really committing midfield players forward, looking to win that ball back. Richarlison wins the
เพื่อนสวัสดีนะครับเพื่อนๆพี่นะเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยนะครับพี่น้องครับลืมเด้อฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ด้วยเราคุยกันได้คอมเมนต์
Came down off of Richarlison, the Brazilian striker's head. Jed Spencer takes one again. They'll go long. Again, they'll look for a Charlton. Charlton holds it up momentarily. It's clattered by Gonzalez into Brennan Johnson. In the end, will bounce for Haaland, who's going to try and hold it up and then turn away from Bentancur. Haaland now racing through on goal. Goes past one, then two. Polinia's left grounded. Fantastic ball in. Strike on goal from Marmoush. Good save from Vicario. That's fantastic play from Erling Haaland. He moves like a dancer as he's bringing that ball to the final third. Not really something that he's known for, his footwork there, but it was certainly on display from Manchester City's number 9. His ball forward as well was absolutely sublime. He's been threatening that a couple of times so far in this opening